What's up folks, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna build a VPN on AWS using Terraform. Let's go. Okay, so I'm in my VS Code. I've initialized my Terraform provider to work on US East 2 region. That's where I want to set up my AWS OpenVPN, and I've declared a module that's called OpenVPN and also created a folder that's called VPN and an empty main TF file. Now we have some things we have to do inside AWS before we actually create the instance, so let's go to the AWS console. Okay, so I'm logged into my AWS account. Before I create the actual OpenVPN server, what I want to do is create a key pair to be used by this instance so I'll be able to log in into the instance. So I'm going into EC2 service and I will go to key pairs and I will create a key pair in the region I want to work in. So in Ohio, US East 2, I will name it VPN, and I want to work using an OpenSSH client, so I'll select PEM and I create the key pair. Notice this is the only time you will be able to download this file, so please save it for safekeeping, and I will save it on my projects. Notice that before you can work with the actual key pair file, you have to change its permission to the Windows equivalent to 400 in Linux. So I will put down below in the description a link to the Powershell script that is actually the equivalent, and you have to run it on the key pair file before you can actually log in to the AWS instance. Okay, so I've run the PowerShell script on the key pair and it's ready to be used. Now we're ready to start working with Terraform. So I'm in Google, I'm gonna search Terraform EC2 instance, and I will go to the Terraform AWS EC2 documentation, and I will actually copy the bottom part into the new main TF file that I've created earlier. Now I want to use the free tier instance, so I'm going to change it to T2 micro, and for the AMI, for the Amazon machine image, let's see what we're going to do. Okay, I'm back in AWS. I went to the AWS marketplace. Let's hit manage subscriptions. You can see I don't have any active subscriptions in this account right now. Let's hit discover products and let's search for VPN, and I'll select the first one, OpenVPN access server, and hit it. Okay, here you can read it, you can estimate cost, etc. This license is allowing for 2 concurrent devices, and it's a bring your own license type. So continue to subscribe. Okay, now hit continue to configuration, and you can see that here, this is the AMI ID that we actually want to copy and paste into our Terraform. So I'm back in my editor, and instead of what's written here, I'll paste it and I'll put quotes before and after and save the file. Okay, I'm back in my Terraform module. I will name the resource VPN server, and I will also give it tag VPN. I'll save it again, and we're ready to actually run Terraform. Now let's run Terraform plan and see what happens. And you can see that one resource, which is the AWS instance, has been added to the plan. We're basically ready to deploy the OpenVPN instance. So let's do Terraform apply, and I will approve it. Okay, I found the issue. This is a classic problem. The problem was that I was on the subscription page on the US East region, but I want to use US East 2 region, which is Ohio. So I'll select this one and I will copy the AMI and I will repaste it inside here, and I will save it. Now, before we deploy, there's one more thing we need to do in order for us to be able to connect to the instance, and it is to declare the actual key pair that we created earlier. So I'm gonna add here key pair, and I'll call it VPN. Now, to be able to actually connect to the AWS instance, we have to also create a security group. So I've searched for AWS security group Terraform in Google. I went to the AWS security group resource, and let's copy this part. Let's paste it here, and we'll call it VPN SG, name VPN SG, allow VPN traffic, VPC ID. I only have one VPC in this region, in this account, so I don't need it, this argument right now. Now let's go to the ingress. I will call it VPN ingress, and we leave the ports for later. Right now, let's delete the CIDR blocks and the IPv6. Same will do for the egress. And for the tags, we'll call it VPN SG. Okay, so we want to now add the actual ports into the security group. So of course we want 443 for the HTTPS. And we also want, and of course we will want SSH on port 22. Now we will need the ports that OpenVPN actually uses. So they are 943, 945, both TCP, and we will want 1194, 1194 UDP. And we'll hit save. One last thing is I'm gonna bring back the CIDR blocks argument because it is mandatory. So CIDR blocks, CIDR blocks, CIDR blocks, CIDR blocks, and also for the egress. Now basically we're ready to deploy our security group and the instance, and let's see what's up. Okay, I'm in EC2. I have a running OpenVPN instance in US East 2, Ohio. I want now to connect to it. So how do we do it? We hit connect, and we will use this command in a minute. Now let's open PowerShell as an admin and navigate to where we have saved our key pair file. Now I'm gonna copy the command from the page into my PowerShell. Okay, I copied and entered the command into my PowerShell, which was open as admin. You can see the OpenVPN is here, and yes, I accept, and yes, I will gonna hit enter, and I'm gonna use the default ports which I've just defined in the security groups. And I will change, should client traffic be routed by default through the VPN, I will change this to yes, because this is what we actually want. And should client DNS traffic be routed by default through the VPN, I will also change that to yes. Installation is finished, and it tells me to connect to the instance using the OpenVPN AS user. So I copied the same SSH command all over again, but I changed the user from root to OpenVPN AS, and the only thing that I did is sudo password OpenVPN, and now we're ready to connect to the actual WebGUI of the VPN. Okay, let's try it. Let's connect to the VPN. I will take the public IP of the instance, and I will type in a browser HTTPS the IP/admin. my connection is not safe. It has its own certificate, and you can see I'm in the OpenVPN access server. I'll now log in, OpenVPN, and my password. I agree. Yep, and you can see I'm in the WebGUI of the admin of the OpenVPN access server. From this point I can create users, I can install the OpenVPN client on my phone and set it up and connect. I can set up various settings in the VPN. What's important to remember is this version of OpenVPN allows you to connect up to 2 simultaneous devices. And of course, whichever region you deploy the AWS instance in, this is going to be your geolocation. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you guys on the next one. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate and put them down below in the comments. Bye, guys.